The small home sat quietly on the edge of the barren colony, its metal walls reflecting the pale light of the distant sun. Inside, a young mother moved carefully, her eyes fixed on the small pot over the heat source. The smell of the meager meal filled the air, but it was barely enough for one, let alone two. Her baby sat in a small crib nearby, tiny hands reaching toward her, eyes wide with hunger. She picked up the spoon, her heart aching as she measured out the last of the food. She knew she had to feed her child first, even if it meant going hungry herself. She knelt beside the crib, lifting the baby gently, her fingers brushing soft hair from the child's forehead. "Eat, my little one," she whispered, as she fed the baby slowly, carefully, savoring the warmth and life in the small body. With every bite, her own stomach growled, but she ignored it, watching her child's eyes brighten with each taste. The mother paused, staring at the empty pot, her heart heavy. She had nothing left for herself, not even a bite. Her hands trembled slightly as she set the pot down. She felt a wave of despair, thinking about the long hours ahead and the cold nights. She wrapped the baby close, feeling the soft breathing against her chest, hoping they would survive another day. Outside, the wind howled across the barren landscape, carrying dust and small debris. The colony was harsh, unforgiving, and every day was a battle. Resources were scarce, and the authorities sent only small rations. The mother had learned to save, to measure, to stretch every scrap of food, but even her careful planning was never enough. She looked around the small home, the walls bare, the floor scratched and worn. Memories of better days flickered in her mind, when food was plentiful, when neighbors shared stories and laughter. Now, silence filled the space, broken only by the soft cries of the baby. She brushed away a tear, refusing to let sadness take her fully. She had to be strong, for her child, for herself. Hours passed slowly, the sun climbing higher in the dusty sky. The mother sat on the floor, rocking the baby gently, thinking about tomorrow, about the rations she would receive. She tried to imagine a brighter future, a time when her child would never go hungry, but the thought seemed distant, almost impossible. Suddenly, a faint sound reached her ears, a movement outside the door. She froze, her heart beating faster. Could it be another family, a neighbor, or someone dangerous? In this colony, strangers could bring help, but they could also bring trouble. She clutched the baby closer, hiding behind the thin wall, watching, waiting. The wind shifted, carrying the faint sound away, and she exhaled slowly, relief washing over her. For now, there was only silence again, but the tension remained, a constant reminder that life was fragile. She hummed a soft tune to the baby, trying to mask her fear, hoping that the child would feel safety even if she did not. As the evening approached, the mother prepared the small space for the night, gathering scraps of cloth to keep the baby warm. She sat beside the crib, stroking tiny hands, her own stomach empty but her heart full of love. The struggle was not over, and tomorrow would bring more challenges, but for tonight, she held her child close, and in that moment, nothing else mattered. The mother whispered once more, "We will survive, my little one, no matter what comes." The baby yawned, eyes closing slowly, trusting in her presence, and as the cold wind blew outside, the mother stayed awake, vigilant and determined, ready to face whatever the harsh world would throw at them. The night fell over the barren colony, and the wind whispered through the empty streets. Inside her small home, the mother sat beside her sleeping baby, her hands resting on a thin blanket. She listened to the quiet, the occasional creak of the metal walls, and the distant hum of machinery from the colony center. Her mind was restless, thinking about food, safety, and the long days ahead. Suddenly, a faint sound reached her ears, soft at first, then growing louder. It was not the wind, nor the machinery, but footsteps, careful, deliberate, and slow. The mother's heart jumped, and she clutched her baby close, fear and curiosity mixing in her chest. Who could be walking here at this hour, in this lonely part of the colony? She moved quietly toward the small window, peeking through the dusty glass. A figure appeared, tall and cloaked, carrying a small pack that glowed faintly in the dim light. The man's face was partially covered, and his movements were calm, almost cautious. He stopped near the door, looking around, as if he could sense her gaze. The mother stepped back, unsure what to do. Should she hide, or should she speak? In the colony, strangers could bring danger, but they could also bring hope. The figure knocked gently, once, then twice. The mother held her breath, her baby stirring in her arms. She swallowed her fear and whispered, "Who is it?" But no answer came, only the soft rustle of the man shifting his pack. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours. Then, finally, he spoke, his voice low and steady. "I mean no harm, I come to help." The mother's eyes widened, suspicion rising. "Help? How do I know I can trust you?" she asked cautiously. Her mind raced through possibilities. He could be part of a raiding crew, or a spy from another sector, but something in his tone seemed sincere, something familiar in his careful words. He lowered the pack slightly, revealing the faint glow of food inside, enough to fill their small home for days. The mother hesitated, fear and hope clashing inside her. She had survived alone, protected her baby with her own hands, and yet here was someone offering help, unexpected, unearned, but real. The man spoke again. "I saw your struggle, I know the rations are low, take this, it is enough for you and your child." He extended the pack carefully, as if it were fragile, sacred. Tears welled in her eyes, the weight of hunger and exhaustion pressing down on her. She reached out, trembling, and accepted the gift, feeling its warmth, its strange energy. She did not know who he was, why he chose to help, but in that moment, hope touched her heart. The baby reached toward the glowing pack, tiny hands eager, and she smiled softly, brushing the hair from the child's face. "Thank you," she whispered, voice catching. I do not know how to repay you." The man shook his head slightly, a quiet smile beneath the hood. "No repayment needed, only remember kindness, it spreads even in the darkest places." Before she could ask more, he stepped back, fading into the shadows, leaving behind the glowing pack and a lingering sense of mystery. The mother sat on the floor, holding her baby close, staring at the strange, glowing food. Her mind swirled with questions, but for the first time in days, she felt relief, safety, and a spark of hope. The wind outside howled again, but inside, warmth and light had entered her home. She whispered to her child, "We are not alone, my little one, someone out there cares." And for the first time that week, she allowed herself a small, trembling smile, ready to face the coming days with renewed strength. The mother sat on the floor, the glowing pack beside her, her baby cradled in her arms. She hesitated for a moment, staring at the strange, radiant food. It looked almost alive, shimmering slightly as if it carried warmth from somewhere far away. Curiosity mixed with fear, but hunger pressed down on her chest, making the decision for her. She carefully opened the pack, and a gentle, sweet smell filled the room. It was unlike anything she had ever known, rich, comforting, and pure. Her baby reached out, tiny fingers brushing the glowing contents, and she smiled softly, feeling a surge of hope. Slowly, she offered a small piece to the child, watching as the baby's eyes widened in delight. The little one ate quickly, savoring every bite, and she felt warmth spread through her heart. Then, she took a small piece herself, cautious at first. The taste was astonishing, almost magical, filling her body with strength and energy she had not felt in days. Her stomach, empty only moments ago, felt full, and her limbs lighter. She laughed quietly, the sound trembling with relief and disbelief. "So, this is what it feels like," she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. The mother looked at the pack again, wondering who had sent it and why. The man's words echoed in her mind. No repayment needed, only remember kindness. She realized that even in the harshest colonies, humanity could survive, could care, could reach across the emptiness to help another soul. A soft glow from the food illuminated the small room, casting shadows that danced along the walls, making the place feel alive, safe, almost warm. Hours passed as she shared the food with her baby, both of them growing stronger with each bite. Her mind wandered to the possibilities, to the wider universe beyond the colony. She had always felt isolated, abandoned even, but now she sensed a connection to something larger, something greater, a universe where humans could care for each other, protect each other, and survive together, even in the most desolate worlds. The baby laughed, reaching out to touch the glowing food again, and she laughed too, a sound she had not made in a long time. The room felt alive with hope, and for a moment, fear and hunger seemed far away. She held her child close, feeling gratitude she could not put into words, and yet the feeling was complete, overwhelming, and real. Suddenly, a soft humming sound came from the pack, almost like a whisper. The mother froze, her heart beating faster. Could it be a message, or a signal? She looked closer, noticing faint symbols glowing along the edges of the food container. Strange but inviting. She reached out and touched them, feeling a gentle pulse beneath her fingers, and a sense of calm washed over her. Her baby snuggled against her chest, unaware of the mystery, only sensing safety. The mother realized that this gift was more than food, more than survival. It was hope, connection, and proof that someone cared, even in the coldest, hardest corners of the galaxy. She smiled through tears, whispering, "Thank you, whoever you are," knowing that the universe was larger, kinder, and more mysterious than she had ever imagined. As night deepened, she placed the glowing pack safely near the crib, watching her child sleep peacefully, and she felt a quiet determination. The struggle was not over, challenges remained, but with this gift, with the knowledge that help existed even in unexpected forms, she felt ready to face whatever came next. Together, she and her baby would survive, grow, and perhaps, one day, repay the kindness that had changed their lives. The next morning, the mother woke to the soft glow of the pack still shimmering faintly beside her. Her baby stirred, yawning and stretching tiny arms, and she smiled, feeling a strength she had not known before. She had survived the night, fed and comforted, but questions still lingered in her mind. Who was the man? Why had he come to help? How did he know about her struggle? She looked at the glowing food, still warm, and wondered about the larger world beyond her colony. Perhaps there were others, like him, quietly helping those in need, spreading hope in the shadows of the universe. A soft knock sounded at the door, and the mother froze, heart racing. Could it be him again, or something else? She held her baby close, waiting, listening. The door opened slowly, and the same figure stepped inside, the glow of the pack reflecting in his eyes. "I see you survived the night," he said quietly, his voice calm and steady. "I wanted to explain, so you understand what is happening." The mother nodded cautiously, curiosity and caution mixing together. "Who are you?" "Why me?" she asked softly, her eyes never leaving his. The man knelt beside the glowing pack, opening it slightly. "I am part of a human colony aid network," he explained. "We help families in isolated or dangerous worlds, people who struggle to survive, like you and your child." He looked around the small home, eyes gentle but serious. "Our goal is to protect, support, and ensure that humanity continues, even in harsh places." The mother listened, stunned, her mind racing to understand. You help families secretly?" she asked, disbelief in her voice. He nodded, "Yes," quietly. "So no one fears, no one fights over resources. We bring hope without drawing attention, so communities can grow safely." His words carried weight, revealing a truth she had never imagined. The mother looked at her baby, the small hands reaching toward the glowing food, and felt gratitude beyond words. "But, why me?" she asked, voice trembling. The man smiled faintly. "Because you cared for your child, even when you had nothing left. That love matters. It shows humanity still survives, even in the hardest worlds." A silence fell over the room, only broken by the soft hum of the pack. The mother realized that this was bigger than her small home, bigger than her struggles. Humans were working together across the stars, quietly, patiently, to protect life, to preserve hope. She felt pride, wonder, and a renewed sense of purpose. Suddenly, a distant alarm sounded, faint but clear, reminding her that the colony was never completely safe. The man stood, eyes serious. "I must go now, but remember, you are part of something larger. The choices you make, the care you give, it all contributes to the future of humanity." He handed her a small device, a communicator linked to the aid network. "If you ever need help again, use this." Tears formed in her eyes, a mixture of relief, gratitude, and awe. I will," she whispered, clutching her baby tightly, feeling a sense of connection to a universe that suddenly seemed warmer, larger, and full of possibilities. The man nodded and stepped back, fading into the shadows outside the home, leaving only the glowing pack and the memory of his words. The mother sat down, holding her child close, realizing the truth of what she had learned. Humanity was not just surviving, it was helping, growing, and thriving across the galaxy. Even in places that seemed hopeless, she felt hope, determination, and courage rise inside her, ready to face the challenges ahead, stronger than ever. The mother sat quietly, holding her baby close, the glowing pack beside them still filling the small home with warmth, she looked at her child's peaceful face, small hands curling around hers, and felt a deep sense of gratitude. The events of the last 2 days played in her mind, the struggle, the hunger, the mysterious visitor, and the gift that had changed everything. She knew that life in the colony would remain hard, the sun harsh, and resources scarce, but something had shifted inside her, a spark of hope, a belief that humanity could endure, that kindness could exist even in the darkest corners of the galaxy. She felt stronger, more determined, ready to face the challenges ahead. The baby stirred, reaching for the glowing pack, and she smiled softly. "Yes, little one, we are safe now," she whispered, her voice filled with warmth. The small act of feeding her child, now returned with abundance, reminded her that love and care could ripple through the universe, changing even the smallest lives. Outside, the wind blew across the barren landscape, carrying dust and echoes of distant machines, but inside, the home was alive with hope, the quiet glow of the pack illuminating walls that had once felt cold and empty. She realized that the man's words were true, kindness mattered, and small acts could make a difference across worlds. She hugged her baby close, feeling the connection to a larger human family that stretched beyond the colony, beyond the stars. Hours passed, and the mother began to prepare for the day, using some of the gifted food to make a small meal for herself and her child. Each bite gave her energy, but more than that, it gave her courage. The baby laughed, tiny hands patting her shoulder, and she laughed too, a sound free of fear, full of life and hope. The communicator the man had left lay on the table, a small symbol of connection to a universe she had never known. She touched it lightly, thinking about the people out there quietly helping others, ensuring survival, spreading hope. She realized that she, too, could be part of that, sharing, caring, and protecting life wherever she could. As evening approached, the mother watched the sky, the 2 suns of the colony casting long shadows across the dusty ground. She felt a sense of peace she had not known in a long time. Her child rested in her arms, full, warm, and safe, and she knew that they would endure, no matter what the universe threw at them. Suddenly, a gentle knock came at the door, but she did not fear it. The visitor had taught her that even in solitude, humanity could reach out. She opened the door to see another small gift, left without a word, just a reminder that help existed, and that she was never truly alone. Tears welled in her eyes, not from fear or hunger, but from joy and hope. She whispered softly, "Thank you, universe, for reminding us that love survives." Night fell over the colony, the stars shining brightly above, and she held her baby close, watching the glow of the pack, thinking about the larger world beyond. The struggle, the hunger, the fear, all had led her to this moment, where hope and humanity had triumphed. She felt ready to face tomorrow, to protect her child, and perhaps, one day, to help another soul in need. In the quiet of the small home, the mother smiled through tears, feeling the strength of love and kindness. Her baby slept peacefully, full and warm, and she knew that together, they would endure, thrive, and perhaps inspire others in a galaxy that needed hope. Her story was a testament that even in the harshest worlds, humanity could shine bright, and that no act of care, no matter how small, was ever wasted.